The story of a Nigerian American woman navigating through this thing called life. Wow. Hey. Whoa. We live, baby. Back at it again. Welcome to episode 16 of the Expectation podcast. I'm your host, Yasinde. And yeah, I'm really excited to be back recording again. It's been a while. But yeah, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling blessed. It's Friday night and the weekend is here. I'm actually about to head out for a holiday gathering at a friend's house. So I don't know, something I've been wanting to record for the past maybe 2-3 weeks, really bad, desiring to record, but I haven't known what I wanted to create. But for the past maybe like 48 hours or probably like the past 72 hours, I've been thinking about like what to record. And then the word authenticity came to me. So I was just like, I think I want to record about the power of authenticity, the power of just being you. And it came about because I was just like, you know what? I'm a YouTube girl. So I'm always like into YouTube heavily. Like YouTube's like a black hole. Like you can find yourself in so many different directions. But I do often find myself gravitating towards the same content creators. And I'm like, what is it? First of all, when you get on there and you watch people's vlogs and you watch about their lives, it's kind of like an escape thing for me. So I really enjoy watching other people's content. But through it all, what I've realized about myself is I gravitate towards creators who are very authentic. And I'm very like discerning when it comes to just in general in life. I've always been very discerning of when people are being their real selves and when they're not. I can see right through it. And it's not even, I would say maybe it's a gift that I have, but I'm very discerning when it comes to people, when knowing when people are being their authentic self or when they're doing a copy and paste. I'm very good at that, very good at discerning who's real from who's not. So I tend to find myself going back to the same content creators, and what they do have in common is the fact that they tend to be very authentic and real and transparent and raw. I shy away from perfection. Like, you know how people are like really into like the aesthetics thing and things have to look a certain way. That's never been my MO. That's not my steez. Like, I love rawness. I love genuineness. I love authenticness, like authenticity. And I really think that if more people, I don't want to say tap into it, but if more people really sit down with themselves and understand the power of authenticity, I think this world will be so much better, because with authenticity comes you knowing yourself. It's even you being able to identify other authentic people. It's a power, I would say. It really is a power that I wish more of us would lean in towards. Especially in a world, and it's probably really difficult in a world of the world of social media. Everyone's looking to be like this perfect thing. A lot of people are just copying and pasting, but like I wish more people knew that God made us individually, like there's so much power in individuality. And I wish more people understood how powerful it is to live in your truth, to live in who you authentically are, as opposed to trying to be like anyone else. Like, shoot, there's so much power in it. I don't even know what direction I want this to go in. I did take notes earlier when I was like after work. I was like, you know how like we used to do this, I think in elementary school, to like brainstorm. You would have like your topic in the middle, and then you would have like the branches. So it was like a web. So I created like this miniature web earlier on today with the word authentic in the middle. So I thought that was kind of cool, taking me back to my childhood. But in the middle of the web was the word authenticity. And some of the words that came out of that word were just like value, power, transparency, And then the off web was like just openness to other people's perspectives. When you're being authentically you, it's believable. If there's growth in that, right? You're not trying to be any other person. You're not a facade. And I have capitalized off the things that make you unique, like those quirks, those that awkwardness, that those are things that make you you. And I think that's so dope. And there's so much power in that. And yeah, I wish more people knew the power of that. Hold on. Am I recording myself? I don't think I'm doing a lot of visual. I don't think you guys can see me. Or maybe you can. Guys, I don't know. Am I recording myself? Because usually there's a box around the thing. Oh, hold on 1 second. I think I'm good. What am I thinking? Yeah, I think we're good. So anyways, back to what I was saying before. So I created this web of just authenticity, words that come to mind when I think of the word, just words that are kind of synonymous with authenticity and what it's done for me and the importance of it to me. Yeah, and just on my journey in life in general, like I can't do the superficial stuff. Like, and I think that's why my circle's so small, because I cannot do superficial. And to be honest, to be authentic, you have to go deep. It's not a superficial thing. You have to really, really know yourself, be true to yourself, but then also surround yourself with people who are similar. And it's hard to really find people who aren't just as superficial, like people who have depth to them and are true to their depth and know their depth and know themselves, know their selves really well. Because it's not something that happens overnight. It takes time. But yeah, I think that's the beauty in it. Just like being authentically and genuinely you. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, and it all started because I was on YouTube, just really, really into what I was watching. And I always often find myself looking at the same content creators, and there's something that makes me gravitate towards them. And it's because the content creators that they tend to be raw, they tend to be authentic, and they're just genuinely them. And it's something you feel. It's a feeling I feel. And I think that's that discerning factor I was speaking of. I could just feel it. Like I know when people are genuinely being themselves and when they're not. And I think it's because I really, really know myself. And when I'm, yeah, I can tell. I guess it's that whole real recognizes like real. And I guess it's, I can tell when someone's being disingenuous. I can tell when someone's not being their authentic self. It's just a feeling I have. Yeah. Yeah. And I know in a world today, it's really difficult to kind of just truly be yourself because everyone's kind of, I was scrolling. I found myself scrolling on Instagram and I was just like, wow, everyone has like really similar aesthetic. Everyone kind of looks similar. It's like a copy and paste thing. And I was just like, damn, like I really wish people could really, really see the value in just being authentically you, even if it's quirky, even if it's nerdy, even if it's odd. There's so much beauty in that. And I don't know, I wish more people would see it, see that in themselves. I just have some notes here. Yeah, something about no filter. I put like not having a filter, not trying to be any other person, not trying to be someone you're not. That resonates with me a lot. There's no one like you, so capitalize off of that. I said that already. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I was actually reading through an article as well. And side note, this isn't going to be a really long pod. Yeah, it's probably going to be quite short, but I just wanted to get some content out for you guys, and this has been on my heart. So I was just like, let me just talk about it, even if it's a brief, like 15-20 minute pod. I just wanted to talk about what I was feeling at the moment, and what I'm feeling right now is the power of authenticity. So in this article, it spoke about some of the benefits you experience when you are being your authentic self. It said you experience a greater sense of well-being, a greater sense of self-acceptance, and a greater sense of contentment. And that's like true, true, true. Like, you start knowing your worth, you start knowing your value when you're just being authentically you, and you can't be swayed too easily by what's going on within the world. A lot of the stuff that's going on in the world is static and kind of try to take you off track and detour you from where you're supposed to be. So like you kind of block when you're being authentically you. You don't get swayed as much by the static that's going on in the world, which is really, really cool. You have more confidence in your abilities and your decisions, and you're less confused, because confusion is not of the Lord. Like, that's not a law of the Lord. So we try to, like, being confused and uncertain, like, that's not okay. And I think when you're genuinely walking in who you truly are, you'll recognize, like, okay, if anything that's of confusion isn't for you. So I think once you're steadfast in who you are and being living in your truth and living in your your authentic self, or being your authentic self, it's easier to make decisions, and you're not as confused all the time. I think that's safe to say. You're not always second guessing yourself, because you know who you are, because you're authentically you. So when something is off and doesn't feel right, you're not swayed by that. You're like, no, this is me. These are my true feelings. This is the perspective that I've gotten, or that I've formulated, and it's like I'm sticking to it. Less confusion, no second guessing. And it says also that there's an increase in emotional intelligence. And then you tend to attract like-minded people. Like, you attract less people. Like I said, it's really difficult for me to bond with people on a superficial level, which is why my circle is very small, because it's not everybody that has depth, right? And it's not everything that's like depth worthy. So I think that's why I tend to just stick to who I know, and we kind of gravitate towards like-minded people. So that makes a lot of sense in that article. Some other things that it discusses is signs you're being authentic. You express your feelings in a positive way without fear. Like, you're kind of fearless. You're not driven by fear. You're steadfast, like I said, in knowing who you are. You're real to your core. Even if you're uncomfortable, you know that it's real. Those feelings are real. You know who you are, because you're walking in your authentic self. You say what you mean, and you mean what you say. This for me, because I think this kind of ties with like not people pleasing. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Like, I think over the past couple, I would say year, I've been like headstrong on like trying to not do things to please other people, but do things that please me. So that's a part of that journey of being like authentically you, is you're not walking around pleasing other people and then you're feeling like crap. Like, that's not, no, we're not doing that around here. We're not people pleasing. We're not doing it. We are not doing it. We are not doing that. We don't people please around here. We do what pleases us, even if it's going to, make other people uncomfortable. And I think I have that here. Yeah. Yeah, you like yourself, flaws and all. Like, I'm not perfect, far. When I say far, like, I don't even know where perfection is, but that's not the point. Oh, yeah, and speaking of perfection, so today's word, I was reading the Bible today, and funny enough, the word was kind of somewhat centered around what I'm discussing, just being authentic, but something. It was in a devotional. It said, God loves you unconditionally, but he also delights in you, not because you're perfect or because you never mess up or because you're constantly faithful. No one is. This verse tells us that God delights in you as you fear him. You acknowledge he's good with a holy respect for his power, and you put your ultimate hope in his unfailing love. That's Psalm 147:11. And I thought that was like parallel perfectly with just kind of being your authentic self. Authenticity doesn't mean that you're perfect, right? But it does mean that you know who you are. And as it relates to this verse, it says, not because you're perfect or because you never mess up, or because you're constantly faithful. No one is, right? We're not perfect. We're not, I don't even know what perfect is. So I just thought that resonated really well with that point that I read in the in that article. So yeah, signs. Another sign that you're being authentic is you seek real connections rather than being behind a mask. And I said that earlier. Like, I think that's the circle being really, really small. Kind of is a reflection of me kind of gravitating towards people who are very genuine with themselves, know themselves. They're real with themselves. They know when they're messing up, just like I know when I'm messing up. Yeah, no surface level connections. I can't connect on the surface. No, I cannot. And I think a lot of social, like because of like social media and stuff, I watch a lot of, like I said, I watch YouTube a lot. And when I watch these content creators, I'm like, you could tell like when they're going out with their friends and stuff, which ones are for like social media versus like the genuine friends that they have. You can tell the difference. I guess that's just me being very observant, but I can tell like a social media friend from a real genuine friend, especially like when I watch vlogs and stuff. So I think that's kind of interesting. And this is no judgment on anyone. I'm just, this is just all about authenticity and how I feel. So yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. And then the last step or the last sign, I know there's a plethora of signs you're being authentic, but you constantly work to improve yourself to be the best you can be. So you're like, you're self-aware. And I talk to myself a lot. I don't know if that's weird, but naturally I talk to myself a lot. I talk to the Lord out loud. Like I talk a lot, like out loud. And I do that as a way to kind of help me guide my thoughts. But yeah, and I guess that's a part of being self-aware too. So I really enjoy having conversations with myself and the Lord. Like I talk out loud to myself all the time. I don't know if that's weird or whatever, but that's just what I do. So I'm gonna wrap things up, and yeah. So that last point was just yeah, you constantly work to improve yourself to be the best you can be. That you're self-aware. But all this like the power of authenticity and just like the power of just being you, it's not something that comes overnight. It's taken me time. It's practice, but a lot of it is like self-awareness, like being true to you, like knowing like, okay, you doing you, that's not you. Come on now. Like, you know who you are, like be you. But yeah, ultimately there's it's such a gift to just being able to walk in your true self and your, you know, there's so much that comes with it. You're fearfully and wonderfully made, and the God made us all individually. So yeah, capitalize on those quirkiness, capitalize off that awkwardness, like, you know, just walk in your truth, walk in who you truly are, and surround yourself with people who are accepting of who you authentically are. And yeah, that's it really. But yeah, this was kind of cool to record. But yeah, I'm going to log off, and yeah. Okay, so before I log off, I think I'm gonna do it. What's on repeat this week, you guys? So I was watching. Speaking of Raw, it's really ratchet and raw, but I was watching Boosie. I was watching Boosie, and gave me flashbacks of like 2005, Survival of the Fittest, that album with him and like Webby. So I was I was listening to that whole CD, and it brought back so many memories. Brought back so many memories. Wipe me down. Oh God. Oh my God. I think no, I was 21 when that album came out. So that was 2006. 2005 or 2006. But yo, there was some bops on there. Talk about ratchet and raw. Oh my gosh. And that's them living in their true authentic self. Oh my goodness. But no, that was what was on repeat for me this week, was the Survival of the Fittest, Boosie Webby, from Baton Rouge. So I was definitely into that this week. But like, guys, please send in question, comments, dilemmas, whatever you want. Send it into the unmet expectation at gmail.com. Bring them in. Bring them in. I want to help you. Help me help you. Send in comments. Send in anything you want pertaining to just navigating life. Yeah, I kind of like to delve into questions and stuff like that. I think they're interesting. So, and I like to give my 2 cents. That's what that segment's called, my 2 cents. So send in those questions, comments, dilemmas about just navigating life. Could be anything: relationship, education, relationship with the Lord. Any questions, like just pertaining to life, like help me help you. I'm definitely here to help. But yeah, this was fun to record. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unmet Expectation podcast. And I'm out. Bye, y'all.